Hello everyone, and thank you again for tuning into my channel. Today, we'll explore one of the most fundamental and at the same time, most profound teachings of the Buddha, the Four Noble Truths. The Four Noble Truths, as they are often called, were the first teachings the Buddha delivered. After attaining enlightenment in what is known as the first turning of the wheel of Dharma, this isn't merely a theory, it is the foundation of Buddhism that faces suffering head-on, seeks its causes, and reveals the path to liberation. These four truths are the truth of suffering, the origin of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and the path, leading to the cessation of suffering. Each truth presents a question and offers an answer. This truth asserts that life is suffering. At first, this might sound a little pessimistic, but when the Buddha spoke of suffering, he didn't mean only physical pain or emotional distress as we might typically imagine. Of course, this includes the obvious illness, losing loved ones, the inevitability of aging, and the daily frustrations when life doesn't go our way. But suffering in this context goes much deeper. Even when life seems comfortable or fulfilling, there's always an undercurrent of anxiety about losing it, about the impermanence of everything we hold dear. Even when we get what we want, or we desire more. Even when we are loved, we fear losing that love. These inner fears, desires, and attachments, these are the true face of suffering. The Buddha put it this way: birth is suffering, aging is suffering, illness is suffering, death is suffering. Union with what is disliked is suffering. Separation from what is loved is suffering. Not getting what one wants is suffering. In short, clinging to the five aggregates is suffering. The five aggregates: body, sensation, perception, mental formations, and consciousness are the components that make up what we call self. The Buddha taught that our attachment to these, to the very idea of I and mine, lies at the root of suffering. Think about your own day. How often did you feel the urge for more? More time, more money, more understanding. Perhaps this constant more is what keeps us trapped in suffering. Why do we live this way? That brings us to the second noble truth, the origin of suffering, samudaya. This truth teaches that suffering is caused by desire and ignorance, what Buddhism calls the three poisons: craving, greed, aversion, hatred, and delusion, ignorance. We live our lives driven by unconscious impulses. I want more. I want pleasure. I want recognition. When things don't go as we wish, we get angry. We cling to things that are beyond our control. This clinging and resistance generates suffering. Take a look at today's world. People feel down after comparing themselves to others on social media, dwell on what they can't have, and lose control over the smallest things. These are manifestations of the three poisons. Let me share a story here. One day, the Buddha met a young man who was undergoing severe ascetic practices. His body was frail from starvation, yet he believed this suffering was the only path to truth. The Buddha gently told him, "If you tighten a lute string too much, it will snap. If you loosen it too much, it won't play. The right way lies in the middle." This teaching of the middle way reminds us not to swing between extremes. Neither indulgence in desires nor self-punishment will lead to liberation. The key lies in maintaining balance. In daily life, this is also true. Overworking and sacrificing health for success, or becoming paralyzed by the pursuit of perfection. These extremes cause us harm. Remembering the middle way helps us recalibrate. So what happens if we remove the cause of suffering? That leads us to the third noble truth, nirodha, the cessation of suffering. This truth tells us that suffering can indeed end. By extinguishing desires and attachments, we can attain nirvana, state of deep peace. And nirvana isn't merely something after death. It is a state of mind accessible here and now. When we are free from anger, greed, and clinging, we gain a calm, expansive, and unwavering heart, like a once turbulent sea now stilled. Joy and sorrow may still come and go, but we face them without being swept away. In this presence lies true freedom. This doesn't mean we suppress our emotions. Rather, it means we're no longer ruled by them. We learn to observe, accept, and gently let go of emotions. Imagine someone says something unfair to you. Feeling anger is natural, but instead of reacting or holding on to that anger for days, you simply notice it. I'm feeling angry right now, acknowledge it, and let it go. That state of inner clarity and peace is a glimpse of nirvana. The teaching of the Four Noble Truths is not a closed, abstract theory. It is a path to be experienced, understood, and lived out in each of our own lives. There is suffering in life, but we can identify its cause, and we can remove it. The path to do so has been clearly shown. These four truths act as a guiding light, always there to illuminate our way, no matter what circumstances we may be facing. When you're struggling in a relationship, when things aren't going well at work, or when the future feels uncertainty, recalling the Four Noble Truths. First, acknowledge the suffering you're feeling without denying it. Then recognize that the root of this suffering lies in your own attachments and desires. Next, allow yourself to believe that it is possible to be free from this suffering by letting go of those attachments. And finally, begin walking the path of the Eightfold Way to move steadily toward that freedom. These four steps form a universal wisdom that can be applied in any aspect of life. So what do the Four Noble Truths mean to us living in the modern world? In an age of overwhelming information, we are constantly chasing something: approval, success, security. We feel anxious when we see others' achievements on social media. We're unsettled by distressing news. And even as we pursue material abundance, we often carry a deep sense of emptiness. Yet the Four Noble Truths offer deep insight into these modern forms of suffering. Much of our anxiety and restlessness stems from the desire for more recognition, more safety, more uniqueness. Over 2,500 years ago, the Buddha had already seen through this fundamental aspect of human nature, and he offered a clear path to address it. That's why the Eightfold Path is especially important today. To maintain right view amid the flood of information, to continue cultivating right intention, even when tempted by the endless distractions of social media, to uphold right speech in our online interactions, to practice right action within a digital world. Even as technology advances and our lives become more convenient, the nature of the human mind remains unchanged. And that's precisely why this ancient wisdom remains relevant. Understanding the Four Noble Truths intellectually is not enough. You need to experience them for yourself through practice, through living them out. So why not start today with something small? When you wake up, make a quiet commitment to live this day with care. When you feel irritation toward someone, try to notice the underlying attachment behind that emotion. When you lose something, use that moment as an opportunity to practice letting go. You don't need to be perfect. What matters is that you begin step by step at your own pace, bringing the wisdom of the Four Noble Truths into your everyday life. And from time to time, pause and reflect on your inner state. Do you feel calmer than before? Are you less shaken by minor frustrations? Have you become more compassionate toward others? When you notice these changes, however small, you will begin to feel the true power of this teaching. Let me leave you with a quote from the Buddha, one that still resonates powerfully in our modern world. By oneself is one purified, by oneself is one defiled. No one else can purify another. In other words, it's not someone else's actions that determine your happiness or misery, nor is happiness guaranteed by what you gain in life. Your suffering and your joy both ultimately depend on the state of your own mind. That is the heart of the Buddha's teaching. May you come to understand and cultivate the truth of the Four Noble Truths as you walk your own life's path. And may this wisdom bring you peace and clarity. How was today's video? I truly hope it helped. Deepen your understanding of the Four Noble Truths. If you found it helpful, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel. Also, I would love to hear your thoughts or questions in the comment section below. Through conversations with you, we can create a space for even deeper learning. Until next time, thank you so much for watching.